Nabuki here from Mystic Chicanery, and I finally got my act together and was able to go down to Darnassus and spend some quality time with a test dummy. So I wanted to put the movie out there just to kind of show what's going on. Now there's going to be a couple things that happen in the video that I want to explain beforehand. First of all, you're going to hear a ping, and it's going to sound like this. When that happens, that's my power aura going off, and it's telling me that my haunt is off of cooldown and I should cast it again. I've still actually got 4 more seconds of it being on the mob, but it came off of cooldown. The other thing, occasionally you'll see auras show up around my toon. Don't worry about them, it's not a big deal. Now for my initial cast sequence, I'll start up with a Shadow Bolt to get the Shadow's Embrace up and running. Then I'll throw a Haunt, which you'll get the second stack of Shadow's Embrace up. Then usually I'll go with Corruption, Curse of Agony, Siphon Life, and then Unstable Affliction followed by Immolate. Right after I get those up, you'll hear a ping from Haunt as it wants to refresh, and from there I pretty much refresh whatever's the next thing that needs to be refreshed. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, I'll go ahead and target the mob, send my pet, start off with a Shadow Bolt, followed by Haunt, then Corruption, Curse of Agony, Siphon Life, Unstable Affliction, and Immolate. Heard the ping there, that was Haunt, so I'll go ahead and refresh that. And then whatever else comes up next when I'm trying to do the refresh. Shadow Bolts in between to fill when nothing needs refreshing. If I start casting a Shadow Bolt, I'll finish it before I go back and do whatever else needs to be done. If I ever lose track of what I'm supposed to be doing, I'll Shadow Bolt while I'm trying to figure out what my next step is. Another ping there for Haunt. Looks like I need Curse of Agony and Siphon Life. Got those up. Doing Shadow Bolt because I started it before the ping. Unstable Affliction I couple with Immolate because they both have the same duration, so I can cast them together back to back, and I always cast one with the other. Shadow Bolt looks like there you go, Haunt. And Unstable Affliction and Immolate's probably next, there you go. And Siphon Life is down. Oh, must not have noticed that. There you go, now it's up. Haunt because it pinged at me. And usually I'll try and couple my Haunts with a life tap. The green ball that flies back has enough life to heal me from a life tap. It works really well unless you're doing Loathab. On Loathab I have to, remind my fingers not to life tap so much. But normally my Haunt is coupled with a life tap. So, middle of the sequence here, put Unstable Affliction and Immolation back up. Siphon Life and Haunt, and then I'm pretty sure I got a couple of Shadow Bolts coming up. So after you get the initial cast sequence up, pretty much it's just whack-a-mole. Put up whatever has gone down. Now, my new precious, I used to use ButtonTimer. Anybody who's seen my UI before will notice the strange and wonderful thing off to the right-hand side of my HUD. By the way, that's MetaHud, in case anybody asks. It's the parentheses around my character. It has my life, my mana, my pet's life and mana, and my target's life and mana. It's MetaHud, use the Nukin branch. Anyway, the add-on that's to the right of MetaHud is called ButtonTimers. It is actually a clickable button bar. I don't think I've ever actually used it to click. But because those are buttons, they show up with proper cooldown timers on them from OmniCC, which is another thing that I'm using. And then they also have the really nifty timer bars that show up on top of them. And the timer bars don't move around. The timer bar on the far left, if you look at it really carefully, you'll notice that I don't actually have a button in there. That timer is showing me the Shadow's Embrace buffer. Buff. There you go. That's my cast sequence. Pretty much I can do this infinitely if I'm standing and attacking. You'll notice that as long as I keep my life taps coupled with my haunts, I will never run out of mana. Even when I get a little out of sync, my Siphon Life is healing me up pretty much for enough that I'm not going to run into problems. Even with a little bit of AoE from a boss. The ping from Power Auras tells me when I need to put my haunt back up, and I think if I remember right, in this sequence I let it drop once. I was kind of disappointed that I let it drop that once, but I got distracted by something going on in the room behind me. As long as you can keep haunt up all the time, you can keep corruption up all the time, so that's 2 spells you don't have to worry about. So, there you go. That's my casting sequence. And, well, that's my UI. So, this has been Nabuka with Mystic Chicanery with Warlock cast sequence. Thanks. Bye-bye.